In today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through a deal that I passed on and why I think sometimes that's the best decision you can make as a real estate investor. Let's dive right in. This week, I was doing some email marketing, which is something we teach our guys how to do inside of the CCF Mastermind, and I got a response back from somebody that had a project they'd bought, but they had not yet listed, and they were giving us an at-bat to see if we wanted to buy the place prior to them throwing it on the market. They even told me what they were planning on listing it for, so I could do some simple math of what agent commissions and selling costs would be to kind of get roughly to like a, hey, what would they take cash for this place prior to throwing it on the market? If there's anything I've learned in real estate, it's that you're not going to bat 100, and often you have to kiss some pretty gnarly frogs before you find your prince. So let's hop into my computer screen. Let's look at this deal. Let's look at comps, and I'm going to walk you guys through why we ultimately decided to pass on it. It's not that I think it's a bad project. It's simply not the project for me. So hopping into my computer screen here, this particular property is in St. Peters, Missouri. Pretty solid, like B+, A class kind of area. It's actually very close to where I grew up. I currently live in San Diego, California, and through Sold Fast, we're launching another corporate location in St. Louis. So this owner reached out to us and said, hey, I've got this place, thinking about putting it on the market, kind of let me know where you'd be at on it, right? So the first thing I went and did, because I'm nosy, I went into propstream.com. They're like $100 a month. And I pulled the ownership info, confirmed that the guy that was planning on listing it was also the owner. Because I'm also nosy, I looked to see what he paid for it. He bought it about 6 months ago for like 135-ish thousand bucks. So here are pictures of the place. He ended up just giving us the lockbox code, said, hey, go look at it and let me know what you're thinking. So if we kind of flip through these right off the bat, right? Interesting drainage, kind of sits like at the bottom of this hill. But this place is indeed pretty rough. So it needs pretty much everything. Definitely needs gutters, definitely going to need some tree work done. Definitely needs tons and tons of landscaping. You can see this, all this is all wood rotted out. Clearly is going to need like a major overhaul, right? So right off the bat, I've learned you can't unbuy a property once it's yours. You can only do what this guy's doing, which is, actually, I don't want this project. Maybe I'll try to sell it to somebody else. Probably going to need, new siding or at least it all cleaned up. Probably going to need HVAC, right? There's some potential foundation issues. Large backyard. Again, it's kind of like into a side of the hill, which I don't love. You're probably looking at this like, all right, this is a pretty serious project, right? Lovely pool. Even listing things like this make me nervous of just like the risk and liability of somebody walking on some of these things. Has a walkout basement, which could be nice. Deck, totally shot. Above ground pool totally needs to go. I think I called that an in-ground pool, which if so, I was wrong. So definitely an above ground pool. That all probably has to go. I will say my brother Justin ran this appointment, did a fantastic job taking pictures. I really enjoyed his flashlight skills, highlighting kind of any issues. There's this ratio I talk about often, and that's the ratio of purchase price to repairs. So the gentleman told me he was going to be listing it for $169,000. I could make him an offer. And if we look at comps over here, it really comps out at like an average of 370, seems like 350 is right in the middle. So while the purchase price in theory would be higher than the repair cost, you're going to need the right crew in order to do this job. Windows look like they might need some love done to them. I'm not sure what happened here because there's not a clear like roof leak, but clearly something got wet or something gnarly happened that looks like it even went down into the basement area potentially. They have smoked in this house for 1,000 years. If you can't tell, needs brand new kitchen, paint, flooring, structural. So pro tip from this, bring a flashlight with you because if it's dark, you're going to want it. You know, this project, I think if I was local and I was going to GC the project myself and I had my own subs, you know, it might be doable. If you figure you buy it for $150K and you put $100K into it, right? You're into it for $250, you sell for $350. For the right person with the right crews, this might be a good project. Me just getting back into this market and not having those connections because I haven't been there for going on 8, 9 years. I'm not going to start out with trying to, from, you know, 35 hours of drive time away, manage a $100,000+ remodel. You see the flooring has some water damage, is buckled, so gives me some concerns about the subflooring. Biological growth, aka maybe mold. Technically can't tell if you haven't tested it. More water damage on the hardwoods there. Something living in the attic. You know, you can see some wood rot and stuff there. I mean, this really is you got to bring it all the way down to the studs and almost reconstruct this house. It is unfortunate because clearly somebody was living here. My gut is this was probably like a hoarder house type situation, but I'm not totally sure. I didn't get the backstory from the guy who owns it. It looks like he bought it and then decided, you know, there's potentially easier projects to do. So there are houses that are sometimes too far gone, like the purchase price with what we need to put into it. It just does not make sense for us. You know, if somebody was going to do the work themselves, like put in some sweat equity, this could be a great deal for them. They had those local connections. Great. We've got some daylight through the ceiling. That's always fun when you can see the sky from inside. Basement with, you know, drop tile ceiling. This is a big old project, right? Now, I would not recommend you do a deal like this as your first project. People get slaughtered on projects like this if you don't know what you're doing. Similarly, if you don't understand construction, I wouldn't take on projects like this. I would look for more your like paint, carpet, roof, HVAC, you know, new countertops, new cabinets, like something like that. Sure, when it's good bones you're reestablishing. We might have to replace some bones on this project. You know, some of the pictures here, I'm like, what am I even looking at? Drop tile obviously all needs to come out. You know, it looks like around the edge in here, there's maybe been some flooding, which wouldn't surprise me with the front of the property sloping down and the gutters terminating directly at the foundation. If you've ever got a project where you're getting water intrusion in the basement, always try to kick the downspouts out away from the property first. Oftentimes that'll fix it before you do French drains or anything. This is interesting. It looks like they put chicken wire around something in the basement, so I'm not sure what that is or why. What Justin did here that I always recommend, if you don't understand something, take pictures of it so you can get feedback on it. More of kind of this basement area, more, you know, biological growth, water damage. That's a nice, what is that? Pink and blue, 50s, 60s? You know, ceiling coming in down here in the bathroom, plus growth all up in the walls. You know, this is going to be a doozy for whoever takes it on. The furnace actually doesn't look terribly old. Typically, anytime I'm getting like water heaters or furnaces, I'll try to get close-ups of the stickers for like install dates, just to know like, hey, what does this thing look like? I was looking at a place recently and the roof was done in 08. And in my brain, I was like, oh, so it's still good. I start to do the math on that. And in 08, that means it's 17 years old. Gross. Got the panel box here. Is that? I know there's Federal Pacific. There's another one that often has issues. My guess is you probably need a new panel box, but I'm curious if that's one of the ones that's known to like spontaneously combust or not. So yeah, we got all of these pictures back. Justin did a great job, sent over 212 of them. Oh, look at that. I was asking for close-ups, and now I'm getting close-ups of things. 86. There's no way that's from 1986, but that's the last time somebody stuck a sticker on it. Some cracks in the foundation. Justin did a great job of like, I have a very clear expectation of what this project is, even what it smells like without walking it. So even if we just looked at like the tried and true real estate analysis, 75% rule that folks like to do, 350 times 0.75 has me at 262. If I subtract out the, let's say I could get the place for 150, I've got 112K total left to play with. And in that, I would need to cover all of my construction, all of my holding costs, my utilities, my private lender debt. That gets real skinny in a hurry. This particular project, as much as I would love to have a project going in St. Peter's, is something that I passed on. I ended up bouncing it off of a friend or two of mine, and they also passed. So that confirms, as a California investor now going back to the Midwest, that I'd probably lose my shirt on this one. I personally, anytime I'm walking a deal, I like to get photos of every major room from every angle, including like the exterior of the house, the sides, your furnace, your water heater, everything. For a couple reasons. One, it's great marketing content if I can show the before and afters because I have all of the angles. But two, it also prevents me from having to do multiple walkthroughs with my sellers. If I have 212 pictures of a property, I can get bids just based off of those. While in theory, there might be 100K in upside on this deal, this project's not for me. If you guys like content like this, let me know, and I'm happy to do more of it for you. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. I'll talk to you guys next time.